Hello, hello, and welcome back to Speak English Naturally. I'm Ellie, and I'm so excited to be here with you today.
And I'm Jane. It's great to be back. We've got something really special for all our listeners today, especially those of you who love a good story.
That's right. Today, we're starting a new series we're calling Book Club for English Learners. Our goal is to introduce you to wonderful books and help you understand them, all while practicing your English.
Exactly. We know reading a whole book in a new language can feel a bit scary, right? So we're going to break it down, talk about the story, the characters, and some useful words you'll find.
And for our very first book, we've chosen a true classic that many people around the world love, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry.
Oh, The Little Prince. What a fantastic choice, Ellie. It's such a beautiful, simple story, but it has so many deep meanings, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's perfect for A2 B1 level learners because the language is quite clear and the story is engaging. You can follow along without too much difficulty, and it introduces some really lovely vocabulary.
Before we dive into the summary, let's talk a little bit about the author. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was a French writer and a pilot, and this is important because the main character in The Little Prince is also a pilot.
Yes, it really adds a personal touch to the story, knowing that. So, the story begins with our narrator, the pilot, whose plane crashes in the Sahara Desert.
Imagine that. You're alone, in the middle of a huge desert, far from everything. He's trying to fix his plane, and he's running out of water.
Right, and then, the next morning, he gets a huge surprise. He's woken up by a small, strange boy who asks him to draw a sheep.
A sheep. Not help me or where are we, but please draw me a sheep. It's such an iconic moment. This little boy is, of course, the Little Prince.
Exactly. The pilot is very confused, but he tries to draw some sheep. The Little Prince isn't happy with the first few. One is sick, one is too old.
So the pilot draws a box and says, "The sheep you want is inside." And the Little Prince loves it. He sees the sheep in his imagination.
This is a key part of the book, isn't it? It shows how children see things differently than adults, with more imagination and wonder. Adults often miss the important things because they focus too much on numbers and facts.
It truly is. The pilot learns that the Little Prince comes from a very small planet, almost like a tiny asteroid, which he calls Asteroid B612. On this planet, there are 3 volcanoes and a beautiful flower.
And this flower, a rose, is very special to the Little Prince. She's beautiful but also a bit vain and demanding. He loves her very much, but he finds her difficult sometimes.
He decides to leave his planet and travel to see other parts of the universe. This is where his journey begins, and he visits several other asteroids.
On each asteroid, he meets a different adult. And these adults are really strange and represent different aspects of the adult world that the author is, criticizing a little bit.
Yes, like the king who wants to rule everything but has no subjects, or the vain man who only wants to be admired, or the businessman who is always counting stars, thinking he owns them.
Right, and the lamplighter who keeps lighting and extinguishing a lamp every minute because his planet turns so fast. And the geographer who asks the prince to describe his planet but refuses to go explore himself.
Each of these encounters teaches the Little Prince something about the strange ways of adults. They're often busy with things that don't seem truly important.
After visiting these planets, the Little Prince finally arrives on Earth. And that's where he meets our pilot, but also some other very important characters.
Yes, his time on Earth is full of new discoveries. He first sees a garden full of thousands of roses, which makes him sad at first because he thought his rose was unique.
He realizes his rose isn't unique in its appearance, but it's unique because of the time and love he gave it. This is a big moment for him.
And then he meets the fox. The fox asks the little prince to tame him. This is a really important word in the book, tame.
Yes, to tame means to create a connection, to make someone special to you, and for you to be special to them. It means building a relationship, bit by bit.
The fox teaches him a beautiful lesson. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly what is essential is invisible to the eye. This phrase is probably the most famous from the book.
Oh, it's so true, isn't it? It means that true value, true beauty, and true connection aren't always what you can see on the surface. You have to feel it with your heart.
And it reminds him of his rose. His rose might look like any other rose, but because he spent time with her, cared for her, listened to her, she became unique to him.
Absolutely. The fox also tells him you become responsible, forever, for what you have tamed. This really highlights the commitment and love involved in any relationship.
So the little prince learns a lot from the fox. He understands that his rose is indeed very special, not because she's the only one of her kind, but because she is his.
During this time, the pilot and the little prince become friends. The pilot is still trying to fix his plane, and they're both getting thirstier and thirstier.
They go searching for water and find a well in the desert, which seems almost magical. This water is different. It's like a gift, a symbol of their friendship.
As the pilot finally fixes his plane, the little prince realizes it's time for him to go back to his own planet and his rose. But to do this, he needs help from a snake.
The snake's bite will help him leave his body and return to his asteroid. This part is quite sad and a bit mysterious for the pilot, who doesn't want his friend to leave.
It is, but the little prince reassures him. He tells the pilot that whenever he looks up at the stars, he'll hear his laughter, because one of those stars will be his planet.
And so the little prince leaves. The pilot is sad, but he knows the prince is happy to be returning to his rose. The story ends with the pilot drawing the landscape where the little prince disappeared, asking readers to look for him.
Wow. I mean, it's such a simple plot when you break it down, but the messages are incredibly powerful. For our A2B1 learners, what do you think are some key takeaways?
Well, first, the idea of looking with your heart. Don't judge things only by what you see. People, situations, even objects have deeper meanings if you take the time to look.
Yes, and the importance of relationships and responsibility. You become responsible, forever, for what you have tamed. It's about how we care for the people and things we love.
Also, the critique of the adult world. The little prince sees adults as being too focused on numbers, on material things, and forgetting the joy and wonder of life. It's a good reminder for all of us, honestly.
It really is. And for English learners, this book is fantastic for understanding descriptive language, talking about emotions, and simple storytelling. Words like desert, planet, rose, tame, essential, they're all very useful.
Absolutely. You also get to practice understanding character motivations and simple dialogues. The conversations between the pilot and the little prince are easy to follow and very touching.
So, if you haven't read The Little Prince yet, we really encourage you to find a copy. You can often find simplified versions for English learners too, which is a great starting point.
And if you have read it, maybe this summary reminded you of some of your favorite parts or helped you understand something new. It's a book you can revisit many times and always find something new.
Definitely. It's a timeless story that teaches us about friendship, love, loss, and what truly matters in life. Plus, it's just a really charming read.
So, that's our first Book Club for English Learners episode. We hope you enjoyed this summary of The Little Prince and feel inspired to pick up the book yourself.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Speak English Naturally. Remember to practice your English every day, whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast, or talking with a friend.
We'll be back soon with another great book. Until then, keep speaking naturally, keep learning, and keep enjoying your English journey. Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.